Hi everyone, Tim here with TC Home Inspections. Today's topic is pest inspections. What you need to know about pests before you buy that next property. Well, if I ask you to describe a few pests of concerns that you might have, 9 times out of 10 you're going to describe pests that you're familiar with in your area, where you currently live. But there are different pests all over the country depending on where you live. And in our service area, we have 3 categories of pests we are mainly looking for because we know, number one, they can do structural damage to a property, and also they can pose a real health concern to many people. So we are basically in the northern part of the United States, and the 3 categories of pests that we're always looking for, we're always on guard for, are number 1, insects, number 2, rodents, commonly field mice, and number 3, bats. So those are the 3 categories that we're going to be focused on for this video for you as well. Well, the first category, insects, is something that are very important for you to understand. And before you hire an inspection company, you should find out what kind of specific training they have, what kind of experience they have in identifying certain types of insects. For this video, the main insects we're concerned with are wood-boring type of insects. Wood-boring insects are those insects that come into a home. They can live there for many years and they can cause a lot of structural damage because they can devour wood. And it could happen anywhere in the home, but the primary areas that we normally find wood-boring insects are any areas of the home where there could be moisture or water intrusion. So if you think about water intrusion, primarily during inspection, you're talking about crawl spaces, basements, attics, door walls, and windows. So those are just examples of some really common areas where our company and our inspection teams find wood-boring insects. Wood-boring insects in general are attracted to moisture, both carpenter ants and termites. So those are the areas you'll commonly find them. Those are the areas your inspection companies should have specific training in identifying. So those are really key insects when evaluating a property. The second category is rodents. In our area, we really focus on field mice because they are so common where we live. Field mice can get into the smallest areas of a home. It doesn't take a very large penetration point for those little guys to enter a property, and they can do a lot of damage in a short period of time. Rodents and field mice are different than insects in that they can certainly do structural damage, but they can also pose a real health concern to people living in that property. Mice urine can be very toxic, and where you'll find mice in homes are similar to insects, but somewhat different in that we normally find mice in attic spaces. Anywhere that's a tight little area that they can live, they can keep warm. They're very comparable to people in that they like to come inside a home during the winter months, and that's where we'll find a lot of activity. But they'll get an insulation in an attic and a crawl space, anywhere there's insulation so they can burrow through it to keep warm. It's very common to find droppings around where mice are living. So your home inspection company should be able to identify different type of rodent droppings. And even if you don't see the mice, you'll know that they are present in that area. But they can dig into fiberglass batting and loose field cellulose and live there for a long period of time. So again, it is really imperative that you have an inspection company working for you that can identify mice droppings and mice intrusion in that property. And then the third category that's really important is bats. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but bats are an endangered species. So many states and certainly the federal government has said that they are an endangered species. You are not allowed legally to kill bats, but the main thing for you to know as a homeowner is bats belong outside the property and not inside. Bats can do structural damage, but they can also really cause a lot of health concerns for people. Bat guano, which is a name given to bat feces, is very toxic to people. So if you have a bat colony living in your property for a long period of time, they can do a tremendous amount of damage and cause a lot of harm to you and the people living there. So if we do find bats in a property, we often we will not necessarily see the actual bat itself, but we will see bat droppings that are very specific to bats. They're very different than rodent droppings. And when we find bats, we will recommend that you have a company come out that's qualified to remove them from your property, keep them outside, seal those penetration points in the property so they no longer come in the home and they stay out where they belong. So those are, again, 3 categories that are important for your next inspection for both structural concerns and health concerns. And your inspection company that you hire should have specific training and experience in identifying those type of pests. Well, I hope this video was helpful for you. Give us a thumbs up if it was. Give us a question or a comment. If you do have any other questions regarding pests in general, we'll be more than happy to help you, and I'll see you on your next video.